Everybody, welcome to Stockradar Stocks and Me for another day, for another week. Today's day is the 17th of the 10th, 2024. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the Stockradar.com website for you. Okay, so what a wild ride we've been having of late. It's been pretty amazing. Price momentum isn't always present, but when it is, it's important we identify it and run with it. It's our opportunity to make some money, which is our ultimate aim. Okay, the key is identifying and responding in a timely manner. No procrastination. Okay, we don't wait. When stops are hit, we don't wait. We do it. When signals are given, we don't wait. We do it. Okay, so otherwise you sort of miss the opportunity a little bit. So the current message is a straightforward one, but always remember, don't be reckless and always have insurance at the stop to look after yourself. Okay. So we are in the eye of the storm at the moment. The market's running really well. Momentum are driving stocks high, and I'm going to look at the MACD, which is momentum index today, as we look through some of the charts that we're going to look at today. Okay, firstly, trend intensity ratings. Okay, some of our top trend intensity ratings, because there are quite a few. We've got Qantas back up there making new highs, an interesting one. Net wealth is just going gangbusters. The golds are on a tear again with Newmont. There's Evolution, Northern Star, we're holding all those ones at the moment. Amcor's bumping up high highs, high lows. Sandfire's a new entry. Answer, you can see there, is doing very well. Since its trend reversal, broken to new highs and is kicking along quite nicely. We'll have a little bit more of a look at that later on. T&E, MQG, all new highs. Aristocrat, new highs. And Linus just starting to move off finally after a big breakdown from $11 to $5.50, cut itself in half. Is now starting to respond and moving up towards $8 again now. So that one looks interesting. The stock big count was flat this week. No ins, no outs at all this week. So we're still flat at 67 of 177 items covered. That means 52 stocks of 153. So about one third of our stocks we have a stock picks at the moment, and 15 ETFs of 24. Okay, now briefly, I just want to go through a portfolio update for you just to see what's happening here, because we have had some tough times, I know, but the market's really moving again and the portfolios are moving again, which is nice. So the accumulation index, the market index, which includes dividends, is up about 9% from 2003 to 2024. Its CAGR is about 9%. Now look at our portfolios. Our conservative portfolio, which is a very conservative one, money top stocks across sectors. We've got 7 out of 10 stocks we're holding there, so we still have 30% cash. It's running at 10.5%. It's pretty steady around 10%. Sometimes dips below, sometimes a bit above. But if you're happy with 10%, in 10 years' time and 20 years' time, then that's what you're going to get roughly. So that can be a portfolio for you if you don't want to engage in the volatility that some of the other ones do. The Energizer 5 stock, my premier one. It's 100% equities. It's running up now 16.1%. It's starting to creep higher as the market goes higher. Our Energy 10 stock is also creeping higher. It's back to 12.5%. It's full at the moment. And more recent ones there, the August 21 that we started in August 20 is about 10.1% now, so that's starting to look pretty good. And the one we started in March 21, 6 months later, is actually at 12.7, so it doesn't quite have that little nasty period in there. We started that a bit later on, but it's up around 12.7%, increasing quite well. So that's good. So the portfolios are doing well. People are coming on board in these portfolios. So if you want to sign up to that, feel free at the moment, because they're all looking pretty good at the moment. Okay, just a couple of words of wisdom about momentum power. It is driving the market. It is an excitable thing, but it provides power, but we need to be poised with this and keep that always, whether we're in a bear market or a bull market, we've got to behave the same way. Try to. I know it's hard, but we need to. But we don't need to get reckless in bull markets like this, and we don't need to be fearful in bear markets, okay? So you need to keep that poise all the time if you can. It's also simple guidance. I'm going to show you the index a bit later on, and we can see the momentum pushing things high, how strong it is for a lot of these stocks, which is giving us a really good guidance. And it also helps us contain our emotions a little bit, because we can see what it's doing and we know exactly how to behave with that. So care and caution are probably two key words that I always try and let you know, because we can suffer disappointment, whether it's a week day or a week. or a bullish day or a bullish week, we need to sort of look at things, in perspective realistically. If we have a bad week and a stock that's going up, it's not a bad thing. Stocks go up and down all the time. So corrections will occur, so don't get too despondent. Try to keep those emotions in check. So care and caution are also the things. So again, cool heads will make the cool decisions always, and they'll make the right decisions. Okay, so just a little bit about momentum. Now let's get to some indices and some stocks, the good bit. Okay, right. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Well, you probably all know what this one looks like because we all look at it all the time. It's going up. How about that? It's making a new high. The volume is good. Momentum is strong. So you can see the momentum index down there. It's high in the index. It's expanding. It's a good green gap there. So it's looking pretty good. We're seeing new highs and new highs. Okay, and that's what we want to see, which really defines a trend: higher highs and higher lows. So the Dow Jones looks fine. Nasdaq's a little bit different. The techies have been a little bit more volatile. So since about July, we've had a sort of a rotation going on here. We've seen a bit of selling hit the market. It held up well. The buying's coming back, and it's now challenging those highs again. So hopefully we'll get through it all. We've got a support bubble down here, so we're watching carefully. The acceleration has slowed, as you can see, for this one. For momentum's not right on board. It's quite high in the scale, which is good. So if it does tick higher and we do make a new high, then the Nasdaq is likely to be off again. Okay, so that's okay. The S&P 500 is making new highs, like the Dow. New highs, good volume. Just to say, new high after new high. Volume's good. Momentum's just now starting to pick up a little bit. It's been, even though it's flat there, it's just pretty steady. If it stayed like this, that would mean this index would continue at the same pace. Remember, the MACD is an acceleration-deceleration thing. So if we go up at the same pace, your index will stay high. It will stay pretty flat, but will be above the zero level, signifying you're in a bull market. If it was a downtrend, going steady downtrend, it will be below the index. So this is above, this is positive. So it looks sound to me on a momentum basis. Our market is now starting to really get on its bike. We created a new high here. We've got a new high here. All good stuff. We're above the average, providing good support. Momentum index is high and wide and looking pretty good. So again, there's not a lot of questions to be asked here. It's an index. If you trade the S&P, that's fine. The SPI, that's fine. But this one here is just give you an idea of what the index is doing. So we're going to get the banks back on board again. The golds are doing well. There's a good smattering of industrials, whether it be Amcor, Ansell, Qantas. There's lots of stocks doing well at the moment. So we're getting a good across-the-board sector. But remember, there are still 100 stocks that aren't trending up, which is sort of weird, but that's the way it is. So a lot of those big stocks, like the banks, if you look at your top 10s, most of those, Macquarie Bank, all those stocks, apart from BHP, Fortescue, Rio and Woodside, are all going up. So the banks are sort of dragging this market higher. Okay, gold, well, it's another one. It's going higher, higher highs, higher lows. Ever since we had a big break here, which is a big forewarning of the likelihood of this sort of move to develop, which it has done, and it's just going higher and higher, and really nearly 2,000 to nearly 2,700. So it's had a pretty good rally since the start of this year, and it's looking very good. Volumes have been good, and you can see the momentum power here. It's right up in the scale here. It's bullish. It's good. This is a very, very strong move we've seen since a little breakout here. So gold still looks pretty good. Then we go to the more despondent commodities, copper. We're not so happy with copper. I mean, it's got up to this area again, and it's failed. It's come back. You've got a 2020 low here, 2022 low here. We really would love to see this break to unleash a big long-term higher high, higher low situation. It hasn't happened yet. It may come back further. We've got a slightly bullish uptrending line going through here, so it's probably going to happen. We're just a matter of waiting until the time is right. And it may be another 6 months, a year, I really don't know. But copper for the moment is still stymied by this resistance up here. But overall, the high-low situation is probably a longer-term bullish outlook for copper, which probably makes sense in the end. Okay, Brent crude. Well, another one here, which is sort of interesting because it had a very, very quick rally here a couple of weeks ago. But it ran out of steam pretty quickly, so we saw a very good rally, and we saw some very, very good volume here, which was quite a good sign. But if you look at it, the big picture of perspective, It didn't get above the moving average. It's still well below these resistance points here. Momentum is still weak, so really there wasn't a lot there of evidence to say yes, because it was about to turn. A little bit of moment of lucidity from the buyers, of levity, and they pushed the market up, but it's quickly come back down again, and it's really not looking that good, crude. So there you go with crude. That's how it looks there. Okay, so let's get to some stocks. Our favourite things to look at. Aristocrat. A really, really simple picture I've shown to you before. It's simply a new high that created above here at about, where are we? Above $48 there. It's now $58. It's been a fairly steady rise. Volume's been good. Momentum is strong. Okay, so the momentum is behind this. It can go a lot further, or it may turn around. We don't know yet, but all we do is follow the trend. I don't predict anything. I don't anticipate anything. If the trend is there, when I've got enough evidence there, I jump on that trend, which I did here when it broke to a new high, which is one of my signals, which, as you know. So that's just Aristocrat. Trend intensity rating is +10, so it looks fine from a technical basis. Amcor, a little bit choppier, but still doing the right thing. So it has turned around. It had a fall from 1850 down to 1350. We created a base. It jumped out of it, came back and had a bit of a deep row to start off with. We didn't get stopped out there. The market has continued to make new highs, come back again, and is now probably going to make new highs again today. And we've got this resistance at 1850 looming large on this chart. So that's the next major resistance there. The trend intensity rating is +8. Which means we're making new highs, we're above the average, volume has not been fantastic, and momentum is quite high on the scale and looking pretty good. This is the weak link, and not always a good indication. We've got some good green bars here on this push high here. This may well change quickly, but for the moment, it's still, the weight of evidence is still positive, and trend intensity rating is +8 for Amcor, and so we look forward to getting up towards this R1 level. Next major resistance level. Macquarie Group, another very simple outlook. It was in a trading range for a long time, so we didn't engage this stock at all. Even here we didn't engage. We didn't need to because this resistance was here. But once we got through that level there, which it was a new high signal, a new all-time high. We've got some buyer support here. Momentum is now kicking higher again. So again, we've just really jumped on this trend and taken advantage of what is already existing and a new high, which is confirmation. So we've seen a jump from around about 211, it's now up around 234, and hopefully that'll be up again today. Trend intensity rating is +9. So the momentum indicator is very, very strong through here. So we've got all these things aligning here, and all of a sudden we get this new high, which gives us a signal. So we're not about picking tops and bottoms, we're just about jumping on trends and jumping off trends and taking a chunk of that trend as we go along for the ride. Because there are plenty of stocks doing it, as we know now. There are plenty of stocks where we can jump on trends. We've got 50 of them at the moment, of which we only trade 5 in our 5-stock portfolio, 10 in our 10-stock portfolio, because we don't need to trade them all. We just need to trade certain amounts of them and make sure we do it properly. Okay, the next one I want to look at is Ansell, which we did have a look at briefly when we look at the ratings there. But Ansell's done pretty well. From a trend reversal back down here, it really hasn't looked back at all. It's come from $25, it's now up around 31. Okay, we've come down a bit this week. Who knows what that means? But again, as I said, all markets do this sort of thing. But we've got new trend reversal here, we've got a new high here, we've got good volume here, and momentum is very, very positive here. So I'm not too concerned about this at the moment. I'm only concerned when a stop loss goes off. For the moment, Ansell looks pretty good to me there, and it's still rallying on quite well. Okay, an interesting one here is Qantas. It's interesting because everyone loves to hate this stock. It's had some terrible press for a long time, but the new helmsman seems to be doing the right sort of thing and trying to endear some positive sentiment towards this stock again, because it is a good stock. Unfortunately, it doesn't yield anymore. Maybe it will one day, but you can see here we're now just testing all-time highs here, and it looks like we may get through there at the moment. We've got a little break here, a little signal here. We've got some good volume and good momentum. You can see the momentum here. So again, we've jumped on what was in existence. We've got a new high there, and if we get another new high there, it really just confirms what we're looking at, and hopefully we are going to be moving to a nice trending phase for Qantas with its trend intensity ratings +8, which is also very strong. So an interesting one, Qantas, but I think potentially it's still looking, well, it looks very good to me for further rises yet. Okay, on the gold front, we know Newmont has done pretty well. It's risen from about $65 up around here when we entered the stock. It's now up around 83. The volume has been pretty good there. If we just sort of squeeze that up again, and so see generally there's a lot of green bars through here. We had a bit of a selling challenge back here, but the green bars started to outweigh this and the movement was higher. And again, we can see the momentum is very high on the scale here and looking very nice. Nice little green gap there, which is what we like to see on Newmont. So yes, as I said before, Evolution and Northern Star also trading higher as well. Okay, Linus, it's the one I talked about briefly to you before. You can see the move from here from $11 to $5.50, and it's now come down to here, and we've now got this switch zone here where it moves above the downtrend line, above the average, and then we get a break. Small resistance point here, but we set this a little bit higher. We didn't have quite enough trend intensity rating to generate a buy signal here. However, it came like the next week anyway. So we've entered the stock around here, and we've got some good volume here. Momentum is starting to look pretty good. It's above the average, so we now have a nice trend reversal. So we're protecting this one with a stop at the moment, and hopefully we might see a decent rally unfold here because it's got pretty good potential. And we know what commodities can do. They can be nasty, but they can also be very, very good. So at the moment, the golds have been good, so we hope that lasts for a bit. And interestingly enough, we'll just watch for other ones that might be starting to appear, like Linus, this one here. And the next one here we've got is Sandfire, which has made a really important new high here. It may look very simple here, but it tested this resistance level here, which was, it's an all-time high back here. And it's a significant resistance level. This goes back to 2013, so it's a 10-year high here, which we're now getting through. Okay, we've got some really good volume starting to appear through here. So if I just break this up again a little bit, you can see what's happened here. So the trend moved up towards a resistance level, and then it came back. We had some really good support come in here, quite high. We could have expected to come back to the low of the range, but it didn't. It's been supported here. We've then seen some good volume take a hold of this stock. Momentum's picked up again, and it's now broken to new highs. So this here really is a very, very interesting picture. Like I said before, Linus, Sandfire, a few of these stocks are starting to move off. And we can watch some of the other ones, even the bigger ones, BHP and Rio. You know, they've come off their lows and they're looking interesting. Not exactly giving us huge buy signals at the moment, but certainly worth watching. And a couple of these have started to kick off. So that's a good sign, I think, for us. Okay. The other one, just briefly look at. We did look at this last week. 360 has really done well again. It's had a really good week again. It's really nicely broken higher here out of this trading range here. Really got on board with the volume, and momentum is really high on the scale and looking really strong. So the MACD to us is a very useful indicator when stocks are doing this sort of thing. So at the moment we've got a nice session, high highs, high lows, and we're making really high highs at the moment. Maybe it might be up again today, I don't know. It's a founder-led stock, which I know can be interesting because they've got skin in the game. So it's certainly a stock worth watching. So that's really all I've got for you today. A couple of other stocks that I don't cover worth watching, maybe something like Shaver Group and Nick Scali, which also yield a little bit and are looking at making new highs, which could be an interesting one. And one other one I probably want to have a look at today, just briefly, a little stock called Future Generation Global. It's part of the Wilson camp, and it's an interesting stock because it's a small stock, which I don't cover on Stockradar, but I'm always looking at these smaller stocks for you if I can. And so this one here, if I just get the volume there, okay, you can see the very strong volume here. So we've had a downtrend, we've had an accumulation phase. It's now broken out of this accumulation phase and given us a trend reversal there. We've got volume and we've got momentum, all signalling this is a buy. So this has now moved out quite well. A little bit of a correction phase here for a couple of months, but it's now moving higher again. What I like about this stock is it's trending higher, but we've also got this trend momentum match, which we like. But also, sorry, my thing has just fallen down there for a second. Sorry about that. And it's also got a very good dividend here, 5.25 grossed up to 7.5. So interesting stocks when they've got all those things, trend, momentum, yield, they're worth watching. And I guess, you look at this stock here, potentially is resistant up around 165. Anyway, just a little one for you to have a look at. Always like to have some of those little ones, but be careful. They can be a little bit dangerous sometimes. Okay, so that's really all I've got today. You subscribe to the blog, take a free trial, have a good look at what we've got at the moment. We monitor all your stocks there. The portfolios are running nicely at the moment. It's a good time to be in the market. In a bull market, we make you money. In a bear market, we keep you safe. So, we try and, run with these bulls. And when the bear is there, we just try and protect. We always, stocks might get hit up a bit often, but we make sure we don't lose big, because we know what happens if we lose too big. It's very hard to come back from, okay? So that's okay. So momentum is the dominant feature of our market, driving stocks higher at the moment. We are in that eye of the storm, which is a really good time to be in the market. So trailing stop management is always key when we're in this sort of situation. Don't ever forget about it and get carried away. Keep your head on your shoulders, not in the clouds. That's the only thing I can really say to you. Just be careful about it all. Okay, so that's all I've got for you today. Watch your trends, heed your stops, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you.